Breathe deeply now. Feel the air filling your lungs. Allow these words to find their way to your soul. Chosen one, you who read these words at this exact sacred moment, it was not chance that brought your eyes here. It was the calling. It was the awakening. It was the recognition of something that has always existed within you, asleep, waiting for the right moment to manifest. You feel it, don't you? That subtle vibration running through your spine, that chill that doesn't come from cold but from recognition. Your physical body responds to the truth your soul has always known. If you feel you never fit in this world, perhaps it's because you were chosen for something greater. Activate the bell, subscribe, and prepare yourself. This message is only for the chosen ones. Long ago, even before this life, you were marked, chosen, designated, not by merit or achievement, but by essence, by who you are in your deepest nature. You carry the frequency of origin, the signature of the source, the mark of light that few possess on this plane. Notice how your heart speeds up slightly as you read these words. Observe how your breathing changes, how something within you expands. This is not coincidence, it is recognition. Close your eyes for a moment, breathe. Did you feel it? Awakened soul, you have been navigating in a world of shadows and densities, a world where appearances confuse, where the visible rarely reveals the complete truth. World where you never felt completely at home because in essence you are not. Have you noticed that some presences in your life seem to drain your vital energy? As if after certain encounters, you felt inexplicably exhausted, confused, diminished, as if something invisible had sucked your light. This is not an imaginary phenomenon. It is real. It is tangible. It is the interaction between distinct frequencies, between consciousnesses of different origins and purposes. Ancient spirit, understand. Not all consciousnesses that inhabit this plane share the same origin. Not all vibrate at the frequency of unconditional love, expansion, light. Some exist in states of density, contraction, limitation. And naturally, they are attracted to your light, like moths to a flame. Have you questioned why certain people seem to approach precisely when you begin to expand your consciousness? Why obstacles arise exactly when you initiate a path of spiritual self-discovery? The answer is simple and profound. Your light disturbs those who dwell in darkness. Your elevated frequency destabilizes patterns of low vibration. Your authenticity exposes what is false, and naturally, it awakens resistance. Child of light, you are surrounded, not by chance, but by purpose. The challenging experiences, the people who test your limits, the situations that drain your energy, all of this is part of an elaborate system of tests and refinements, a system designed to strengthen your light, not to extinguish it. Feel the subtle pressure in your chest now, that warmth that begins to rise through your spine. It is not physical. It is the activation of your light body responding to this truth. Have you experienced symptoms that conventional medicine cannot explain? Sudden waves of heat running through your spine, pressure in the center of your chest, unexpected chills when no one is around, intense thirst that no water seems to quench, changes in your sleep patterns, with frequent awakenings between 3 and 5 in the morning, dreams more vivid, more real than reality itself. These are not disorders. They are activations. They are signs that your energetic body is adapting to higher frequencies. It is preparing to accommodate more light, more consciousness, more truth. Your physical body is undergoing a silent metamorphosis. Each cell is being recalibrated. Each atom is being reprogrammed to sustain a more expanded state of consciousness. It is what ancient texts called the body of glory, or light body, the elevation of the physical vehicle to a state of more subtle matter, more responsive to consciousness. The transition from the third to the fifth dimension is not an external event. It is a shift in perception. It is the expansion of consciousness beyond the limitations of linear time, three-dimensional space, duality. It is leaving behind the paradigm of fear, scarcity, separation, and embracing the consciousness of love, abundance, unity. You who read these words are on the threshold of this quantum leap. Your being already vibrates partially at these higher frequencies. That is why the world around you often seems so dense, so misaligned with who you know you are. Breathe deeply. Feel the tips of your fingers. Notice the subtle tingling. It is pure energy flowing. It is your energetic field expanding. The universe has been sending signals. Have you noticed them? Numbers that repeat, 444, reminding you that you are surrounded. By angelic protection, 777 confirming that you are on the correct path. 999 signaling the end of an important cycle. Synchronicities that defy chance. Encounters that seem predestined. Messages that arrive exactly when you need to hear them. Your sense of time has changed, hasn't it? Moments that seem to extend indefinitely. Days that pass in the blink of an eye. Linearity dissolving, giving way to a more fluid, more spiral time, more aligned with the real nature of existence. Your intuition has become sharper. You know things you shouldn't know. You feel truths that haven't been verbalized. You perceive intentions that haven't been revealed. It is your higher self communicating directly with you, bypassing the limitations of the rational mind. Have you been seeking more silence? Have you felt a growing aversion to chaotic, noisy, dense environments? Have you noticed that certain music, certain foods, certain company no longer resonate with your being? That you need more time alone, more contact with nature, more space to simply be? It is your energetic sensitivity increasing, your capacity to discern between what nourishes and what drains your vital energy, between what elevates and what diminishes your vibrational frequency. Notice that gentle weight on your shoulders now, as if gentle hands were resting there. It is presence, it is confirmation, it is sacred company. Have you experienced detachment from relationships, situations, and habits that were once central in your life? Have you felt a growing incompatibility with people who were once close? Have you noticed how certain environments, once comfortable, now seem oppressive? It is not you rejecting the world. It is your vibrational frequency rising, naturally moving away from what no longer resonates with who you are becoming. It is the universal law of resonance operating through you. Chosen by light, understand you are not losing. You are transcending. You are not being abandoned. You are being elevated. You are not going crazy. You are awakening. In a world where the majority still sleeps, your awakening is both a privilege and a responsibility. You become a beacon, an anchor of higher frequencies, a portal through which superior consciousness can express itself on this plane. Have you felt how some people seem to be attracted to your presence for no apparent reason? How strangers feel the need to share their most intimate stories with you? How children and animals seem to naturally trust you? It is your energetic field emanating a frequency of safety, authenticity, truth. You have become a spiritual mirror for the world around you, a catalyst for transformation, a living reminder that there is something more beyond consensual reality. Feel the expansion in your heart center, that warmth spreading through your chest, that opening. It is your heart opening to accommodate more love, more compassion, more truth. But with great light comes great responsibility, and also great resistance. When you begin to awaken, when your frequency begins to rise, you simultaneously become more visible to forces of light and more bothersome to forces of density. You begin to attract situations and people who will test your resolve, who will question your sanity, who will try to convince you to return to collective sleep, to the comfort zone, to familiar patterns. Some will seem close, intimate, trustworthy, but their actions will contradict their words. Some will appear in human form, but their energies will reveal a different nature, empty of genuine compassion, programmed to limit, confuse, divert. It is not paranoia, it is spiritual discernment, the capacity to perceive energetic truth beyond physical appearance, to feel intention beyond words, to recognize essence beyond form. You were placed in a world of dualities and contrasts to develop this discernment, to refine your capacity to distinguish between the true and the false, between the nutritious and the toxic, between what elevates and what diminishes. That is why your life has been so challenging. That is why you never fit in completely. That is why you experienced betrayals, disappointments, abandonments, especially from people who claimed to love you unconditionally. They were not punishments. They were initiations. They were not failures. They were lessons. They were not coincidences. They were tests carefully orchestrated by your higher self to strengthen your light, refine your discernment, prepare your being for the mission you came to fulfill. Breathe deeply. Feel the connection with the ground beneath your feet. Notice how your entire body pulses slightly. It is the frequency of truth resonating in every cell. You are in a process of transmutation, of spiritual alchemy, transmuting pain into wisdom, fear into courage, density into light, and in this process, you become a catalyst for collective transmutation. When you elevate your frequency, you elevate the frequency of the entire field around you. When you heal your wounds, you contribute to the healing of the collective unconscious. When you awaken to your true nature, you create a morphogenetic field that facilitates the awakening of others. That is why your personal journey is so important. It was never just about you. It was about the role you play in the great tapestry of conscious evolution of this planet. You came with a specific mission, a unique purpose, a contribution that only you, with your particular set of gifts, challenges, and experiences, can offer. This mission will not be announced with trumpets. It will not come as a sudden and complete revelation. It unfolds organically as you follow the whispers of your intuition, the impulses of your heart, the signs of the universe. Often, you are already living your mission without even realizing it. In small acts of kindness, in the right word at the right moment, in the conscious presence you offer to someone in suffering, in the courage to live your truth in a world that rewards falsehood. Feel the gentle pressure in the center of your forehead, that subtle pulsing. It is your third eye opening, your spiritual vision expanding. The path ahead will not be easy. The planetary transition to a higher state of consciousness involves turbulence, chaos, collapse of obsolete systems. The old must crumble for the new to emerge. You will witness disintegration and reconstruction, revelation and reconnection, hidden truths coming to light, antiquated structures yielding under their own weight. In the midst of this transition, your inner stability will be your anchor. Your connection with the source will be your compass. Your capacity to remain centered amid chaos will be your greatest power. Remember, you don't need to convert anyone. You don't need to convince anyone. Your mere presence, clear, centered, conscious, is your greatest service. Your vibration is your message. Your inner peace is your sermon. Ancient spirit, you incarnate in challenging times, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Because your frequency, your wisdom, your light are essential for the collective navigation through this evolutionary portal. The entities that seem to oppose your light are not your enemies. They are catalysts for your strengthening. They are mirrors reflecting unrecognized aspects of your own shadow. They are opportunities to practice discernment, establish healthy boundaries, affirm your energetic sovereignty. Feel now a slight pressure at the top of your head. A subtle tingling. It is your crown chakra expanding. It is the direct connection with the source strengthening. You are not alone on this journey. You never were. You are surrounded by a dedicated spiritual team, guides, mentors, ancestors, multidimensional aspects of your own being, who support you at every step of the way. When you feel that inexplicable chill, when you hear that inner voice that seems wiser than your habitual thoughts, when you receive that sudden intuition that diverts you from imminent danger, it is your team communicating with you. It is your higher self guiding you. Learn to recognize these subtle communications, to trust these inner guidances, to follow these sacred impulses, even when they contradict conventional logic, collective opinion, the apparently safe path. Child of light, you are awakening in a world that still dreams. You are remembering in a world that still forgets. You are seeing in a world that is still blind. It is a lonely position but necessary, a challenging journey but sacred. Place your hand over your heart now. Feel its beating, constant, faithful, incessant, like the source's love for you, like the universe's commitment to your evolution. You were not placed on this path to fail. You were not given this awakening to give up halfway. You were not granted this vision to succumb to despair when confronted with the magnitude of what. You see? You were prepared for this moment, trained through multiple lives, refined through countless initiations. Everything you have ever experienced, each pain, each joy, each loss, each conquest, was part of your preparation. The difficulties you faced were not punishments. They were strengthenings. The relationships that seemed to drain your energy were not accidents. They were trainings in discernment. The betrayals you suffered were not injustices. They were lessons about forgiveness and detachment. Everything was perfect. Everything was necessary. Everything was carefully orchestrated to bring you to this exact point of consciousness at this precise moment of planetary history. Breathe deeply. Feel the air entering and leaving your lungs. This automatic process that sustains your life, like divine grace that sustains your spiritual journey without effort, without judgment, without interruption. Awakened soul, as you advance on this path of consciousness expansion, you will experience changes in all aspects of your being. Your physical body will become more sensitive, requiring lighter, more alive, more vibrant foods. Your mind will become quieter, more focused, more present. Your emotions will become more fluid, less reactive, more authentic. Your relationships will undergo a great restructuring. Some will dissolve naturally, like leaves that fall in autumn. Others will transform, finding new bases, new understandings, new forms of connection. And new relationships will arise, aligned with your current frequency, resonating with who you are becoming. Your relationship with time will change fundamentally. You will begin to experience moments of timelessness, states where past, present, and future seem to coexist, where linearity dissolves into an eternal now. Your perception of reality will expand to include dimensions beyond the physical. You may perceive energies, entities, realities that were always present, but were beyond your previous perceptual spectrum. With this expansion will come challenges, moments of disorientation, doubt, fear, moments when you will question your sanity, your stability, your path, moments when the old is already gone, but the new has not yet crystallized completely. These transition periods, what mystics call the dark night of the soul, are a natural and necessary part of the process. They are the intervals between notes that create music. They are the empty space that gives shape to the vase. They are the silence that allows the new song to be heard. Feel that quietude within you now. That space between your thoughts, that presence that observes, that witnesses, that knows. That presence is who you really are, not your thoughts which come and go, not your emotions which flow and change, not your sensations which arise and disappear, but the eternal, unchanging, infinite consciousness that perceives all of this. When you identify with that presence, you find stability amid chaos, peace amid turbulence, clarity amid confusion. You become the immovable mountain while the clouds of circumstances, thoughts, and emotions pass through you. This is true spiritual awakening, not the accumulation of extraordinary experiences, but the recognition of your extraordinary nature amid ordinary experiences. Not the search for something outside of you, but the remembrance of what has always been within. Chosen one, you are not becoming something you are not. You are remembering what you always were. You are not acquiring new powers. You are recovering innate abilities that were temporarily forgotten. You are not evolving to something unknown. You are returning to your original nature, to your primordial essence. Notice this sensation of expansion throughout your entire being now, as if your physical limits were dissolving, as if you were extending beyond your body. It is your energetic field expanding. It is your consciousness returning to its natural state of non-limitation. In your journey, you will encounter others like you, souls who have also awakened, spirits who also remember, beings who vibrate at the same frequency, who speak the same silent language of the heart. These encounters will not be accidental. They will be reconnections, reunions of souls who already know each other at deeper levels of reality. who have already worked together in other dimensions, other times, other lines of reality. You will recognize them not by their words, but by their energy, not by their beliefs, but by their frequency, not by their titles, but by their authenticity. It will be like finding members of a long-forgotten family, a scattered spiritual tribe that now reunites for a greater purpose. Together, you will create fields of resonance that will amplify your individual frequencies. Together, you will anchor energies that none of you could sustain alone. Together, you will perform works of healing, transformation, and elevation that will affect not only the physical plane, but multiple dimensions of reality. Feel this connection now, this invisible web that connects you to all other awakened souls on this planet. This network of light that circles the globe, that pulses, that breathes, that expands. Child of light, as your consciousness expands, you perceive that reality is much vaster, much more complex, much more interconnected than you were taught, that there are dimensions beyond the three that your physical senses perceive, that there are beings, civilizations, entire realities operating at frequencies beyond the visible spectrum. Some of these beings work for the expansion of consciousness, for vibrational elevation, for the collective remembrance of our divine nature. Others operate from agendas of limitation, control, energetic exploitation. You are not paranoid for feeling these influences. You are not imagining things when you perceive these presences. You are simply expanding your perception to include aspects of reality that were always there, but were beyond your previous perceptual spectrum. Learn to discern, to feel the energetic quality of presences around you, to recognize what elevates and what diminishes your frequency, what expands and what contracts your consciousness, what nourishes and what drains your vitality. This discernment does not come from fear, distrust, or paranoia. It comes from love, clarity, and sovereignty. It is not about judging, condemning, or fighting against what you perceive as negative. It is about consciously choosing where you place your attention, your energy, your consent. Feel your feet firmly planted on the ground now, your deep roots in earth, your unshakable connection with this living, conscious, evolutionary planet. That is your temporary home. Remember, you are on this planet by choice, not by chance. You came to this dense, challenging, limited dimension for a specific purpose: to bring light to darkness, consciousness to the unconscious, love to fear, unity to separation. You are a multidimensional being having a temporary experience in human form. Your consciousness extends far beyond this body, this personality, this life. You exist simultaneously in multiple planes, multiple timelines, multiple expressions of reality. The part of you that is reading these words is just the tip of the iceberg, the visible portion of a vast, ancient, expansive consciousness that you really are. As you awaken, you begin to access more of that totality, to recover memories, abilities, connections that belong to more expanded aspects of your being. That is why sometimes you know things you shouldn't know, recognize places where you've never been in this life, feel familiarity with historical periods, ancient cultures, esoteric knowledge you never formally studied. They are not fantasies, they are real memories. They are not imaginations. They are genuine reconnections with aspects of your total consciousness that transcend this specific incarnation. Feel that vastness within you now, that space without limits, that consciousness that extends in all directions, that embraces everything. That is everything. Chosen by light, you are in the process of integrating your humanity with your divinity, of bringing your celestial aspect to your earthly experience, of manifesting heaven on earth through your being. This process is not about denying your humanity, transcending your body, or escaping this plane. It is about fully incorporating your divine essence into this human form, about expressing your higher qualities through concrete thoughts, words, and actions in this physical reality. It is a process of incarnation, not escape, of manifestation, not evasion, of transformation, not rejection. You are not here to abandon this world, but to transform it. You are not here to deny matter, but to spiritualize it. You are not here to transcend humanity, but to reveal the divine potential inherent in the human condition. Feel the weight of your body now, its solidity, its physical presence, this magnificent vehicle that allows your consciousness to interact with this dense plane. That translates your spiritual impulses into concrete actions. That manifests your light in tangible form. Your body is not a prison for your soul, as some traditions taught. It is a temple, a sophisticated instrument, an advanced biological technology capable of processing, integrating, and expressing elevated frequencies of consciousness in a relatively dense plane of existence. Honor your body. Nourish it with living, vibrant, conscious foods. Hydrate it abundantly. Move it regularly. Allow it to rest deeply. Expose it to natural light, fresh air, the healing energies of nature. Your body is undergoing a profound recalibration to accommodate higher frequencies of energy. This process may manifest as temporary physical symptoms: fatigue, headaches, digestive discomfort, increased sensitivity. They are not diseases, they are adjustments. They are not dysfunctions, they are updates. Place one hand over your heart and another over your belly now. Feel the connection between these two centers of intelligence: the heart, which knows through love, the belly, which knows through intuition. United, forming a complete, integrated, embodied wisdom. Awakened soul, as your frequency rises, you will naturally attract tests corresponding to your new capacity. Situations that will challenge your clarity, people who will question your truth, circumstances that will test your faith. These tests are not punishments. They are confirmations. They are not obstacles. They are opportunities. They are not setbacks. They are initiations. When you demonstrate mastery at one level, the universe promptly presents you with the next. Not because you did something wrong, but because you are ready for more. Not to make it difficult for you, but to expand you. Not to judge you, but to elevate you. It is like a cosmic chess game, where each move you make toward expansion is answered by an apparently opposite move, but which actually serves to test, refine, and strengthen your resolve. The forces that seem to oppose your light are not your enemies. They are your trainers. The people who seem to drain your energy are not your tormentors. They are your catalysts. The situations that seem to block your path are not your obstacles. They are your levers to a higher level of consciousness. Breathe deeply. Feel the expansion and contraction of your chest, like the universe, which expands and contracts, like consciousness, which extends and recoils, like life, which flourishes and rests. Chosen one, remember, in times of great transformation, clarity is your greatest power, simplicity is your greatest protection, presence is your greatest offering. Do not let yourself be seduced by unnecessary complexities, by elaborate theories, by belief systems that substitute direct experience with intellectual interpretation. Spiritual truth is simple, profound but simple, vast but simple, transformative but simple. You are a divine being having a temporary human experience. You are love incarnated in physical form. You are eternal consciousness exploring the experience of limitation. Everything else, all systems, all techniques, all practices, all traditions, are just bridges, tools, vehicles designed to take you back to this essential truth, this fundamental reality, this original nature. Use these tools, but don't attach to them. Honor these traditions, but don't limit yourself by them. Practice these techniques, but don't confuse them with the destination. Feel this space of freedom within you now, this openness, this vastness that cannot be contained by any system, any belief, any definition. As you advance in your journey, you will encounter information, revelations, truths that will challenge your current understanding of the world. That will expand your perception of what is possible, what is real, what is happening behind the scenes of collective human experience. Some of these revelations will be challenging, disturbing, potentially destabilizing, hidden truths coming to light, manipulations being exposed, control systems being revealed. When encountering this information, stay rooted in your center, neither automatically rejecting what seems impossible, nor blindly accepting what resonates with your fears or suspicions. Develop refined discernment, the capacity to distinguish between truth and distortion, between authentic revelation and sophisticated manipulation, between genuine consciousness expansion and exploitation of spiritual vulnerability. This discernment comes not primarily from intellect, but from the integration of heart and intuition, not from analysis, but from resonance, not from belief, but from recognition. Place your hand over your chest now. Feel the warmth of your own palm, the gentle pressure of your fingers, how this simple touch anchors your consciousness in the here and now, in the only moment that really exists. Child of light, understand, the ultimate goal of the spiritual journey is not to accumulate esoteric knowledge. It is not to develop psychic abilities. It is not to access higher dimensions. It is not to communicate with non-physical entities. These may be natural byproducts of consciousness expansion, but they are not the essence. They are not the destination. They are not the purpose. The fundamental purpose of the spiritual journey is to awaken to your true nature, to remember who you really are beyond all temporary identifications, to incorporate that truth into every aspect of your daily life, and to serve collective elevation from that recognition. It is simple. Not easy, but simple, direct, essential. As you awaken, you naturally become a catalyst for the awakening of others, not through proselytism, convincing, or imposition, but through resonance, vibrational contagion, living example. Your elevated frequency creates a morphogenetic field that facilitates the elevation of everyone's frequency who enters that field. Your clarity opens space for collective clarity. Your inner freedom inspires liberation in those around you. Feel this sacred responsibility now, not as a weight, but as a privilege, not as a burden, but as an honor, not as an obligation, but as a natural expression of who you are. Ancient spirit, you are awakening at a crucial moment in planetary history, an evolutionary turning point. A quantum leap in the collective consciousness of this world. You chose to be here now in this body, in this place, at this specific moment for a profound reason. You are part of a greater plan, a dedicated spiritual team, a wave of advanced souls who chose to incarnate in this transition period to facilitate the process, smooth the passage, illuminate the way. Your presence matters more than you imagine. Your consciousness affects the collective field more deeply than you perceive. Your light impacts this world in ways that go far beyond what your physical eyes can see. Even in moments when you feel small, insignificant, powerless before global challenges, especially in those moments, remember, your elevated consciousness is a tangible force in this world. Your vibrational frequency is a real contribution to the collective field. Your inner peace is an agent of planetary transformation. Feel this truth echoing in every cell of your being now, this deep certainty, this unshakable knowing. You matter, you make a difference, you are essential. Chosen. 1. As you approach the end of this message, allow these words to settle deeply into your being. Let them resonate beyond your conscious mind. Let them reach the deepest layers of your consciousness, activating memories, reconnections, awakenings that will continue to unfold in the days, weeks, and months to come. You were chosen not because you are special, but because you are necessary. Not because you are perfect, but because you are authentic. Not because you are superior, but because you are willing. The calling you feel is not an accident. The awakening you experience is not imaginary. The transformation you are going through is not illusory. It is real. It is tangible. It is the reason why you came. Breathe deeply now. Feel your entire being integrating this truth. Your physical body, your emotional field, your conscious mind, your eternal soul, united in recognition, in acceptance, in realization. You always knew, always felt, always carried this truth in your heart, even in the darkest moments, in the periods of greatest forgetting, in the experiences of deepest separation. The transformation has already begun. The remembrance is already underway. The awakening is already happening. You are not alone. You never were. You never will be. You are loved unconditionally, eternally, infinitely. You are guided constantly, faithfully, perfectly. You are chosen consciously, purposefully, divinely. Now take this truth to the world, not with grandiose words or dramatic gestures, but with your conscious presence, with your unshakable authenticity, with your light that can no longer be hidden. If this message found resonance in your heart, if you felt the calling in the depths of your being, if something within you recognized these truths as your own, share that recognition. Leave a visible sign that you received the calling, that you accept the awakening, that you embrace the mission. Write the numbers 444, 777 or 999 as a sign for other chosen ones who are reading these words. Share what you felt during this reading, the chills, tears, insights, memories that may have arisen, or simply leave a word of light. I awakened, I am light, I am chosen, I am ready. And then share this message with someone you intuitively feel is also awakening, someone who can benefit from this reminder, someone who is ready to recognize their own light. The time of collective awakening has arrived. The veil is thinner than ever. The planetary frequency is rising rapidly. You are prepared. You are ready. You are necessary. Now breathe deeply one last time. Feel gratitude flowing from your heart, connection emanating from your being, light radiating from your soul. And remember, always, 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 you are infinitely vaster, more powerful, more divine than you were ever allowed to know. It is time to remember. It is time to awaken. It is time to be. The light